Life is a terrifying and splendid journey. Life is so amazingly complicated. So many junctions, so many decisions, so many events happen to us, a main character in the story. We are the main character of the story, and this story is our life. We are born to a specific story, ours, to our parents, to our country, to our gender, and we follow the story we created for ourselves as this oneness who created a story for each separate appearance and expression of it. But we do not see all these expressions all at once. We only see our specific, unique expression, which is our life. And life is a terrifying journey. It is not a pleasant one. It is not something you just go through unharmed. Life hits you all the time. Life is like a series of trials, and you have to learn your lesson. And if you don't learn your lesson, you have to do the test again and again and again, and it's exhausting, and it's so hard, because these trials, not like in school, they involve everything within our and it is very hard, because these trials are not like the trials in school when you learn geometry or the Bible. You learn something so hard about yourself, about your reality, about the people that surround you. And this is a hard lesson. And this is why life tends to challenge you, to challenge everything about you all the time. You are challenged. Your life is a challenge, a great big challenge. So because life is so hard and it's discouraging, you feel like you can't take it. You don't know why these things happen to you all the time. And plus, you torment yourself with your interpretation of what is happening around you, and you create your life as this character. Psychologically, you do things to yourself in your mind that creates your life and your behavior. And this total sum creates something that sometimes it's very hard to cope with. It's hard to live. It's hard to just continue doing what you do and go to the place that you need to go to and do the things you have to do. And sometimes you don't find the point, and sometimes you don't have the will to live, to enjoy life. You cannot enjoy your life because it's too hard, because it's too demanding, and you don't find a reason or the lightness and what it should have been like, life, something that expresses itself so freely and fully, and you enjoy it. You cannot enjoy your life. And this is the basic state of humanity right now. Humanity doesn't enjoy its life, and the will to live is very low. There is a will to live because everyone is alive and they are doing things and they are acting, but there is no fire, there is no passion, there is no true happiness in the process of living. And this expresses itself in the hard part of what is happening. When something hard is happening, you find it impossible to enjoy your life. So losing this ability to enjoy every day, every second of your life is the state of humankind, because they don't, you don't. You just go through your life and try to survive somehow what you have to do. You survive it, you don't enjoy it, you don't like it. It's too hard. You have been disappointed too many times, and the mind always thinks, what will happen next? What bad thing is going to happen to me next that I cannot enjoy my life? And you miss the current moment, which is the only expression of your life. So this will to live, this great passion, this great enjoyment of what is and what is your expression, your life, is being depressed all the time. It is depressed. You cannot help it, because you are psychologically programmed to do that ever since you were a child. When things happen to you and you interpret them in some way, you try to be careful the next time, and then you limit your actions. And then everything becomes very narrow and limited. And your life, how you expressed it, is narrow and very, very limited. This is very, very sad. Because it's so, you don't know where we came from. You don't know that. You don't know where are you going to. Where have you been before you were this separate form, this name, this gender, this person? And where are you going to be after you lose this identity? Where? What is this place? So this place is what we are talking about all the time. This all-nothingness is the great silence, the great emptiness. This is it. This is what is right now. And it is very rare. It is a rare occasion and a blessed one when a separate form captures this oneness through a point of view, which is what is life. Capturing this emptiness through a point of view of someone. It's so rare, special, and unique. And this is your life. And it is amazing. It is an amazing present. It is an amazing thing to be able to see it. So now in this state, observing the separate form's point of view on this all-nothingness is truly magnificent. So it's a great celebration, because it knows Simcha is not here. It knows this emptiness, that it is it. In the moment of self-realization, you realize you are empty and nothing really happens anyway, and anytime nothing happens, but there is still like a point of view of something, looking at something, at expressions, at ideas. And it's so miraculous and it's so complicated to see oneself. You see oneself, you see this all nothingness ideas. You see the idea of a tree. It is an amazing idea, and so many expressions of a tree, and fruits, and flowers, and people, and behaviors, and countries, and planets. Wow! It is great, wow, to be able to see that as expressions, because our natural state is so quiet and empty. It doesn't need to see everything all at any of the expressions, because it is all the expressions all at once. But through the narrow observation of the separate form, it can. So Simcha can still look at this process and expression and call it life. And it is just amazing to see that. So she knows how unbelievably amazing this state is of being able, as this oneness, to look at itself as separate forms who interact, to look at time, to look at the illusion of the space, to look at this illusion. So it is released from the burden of being alive. Simcha is released of this burden of she is a live form and she will die and what will happen. And she can just celebrate the expression of what is the ideas that surround her. So there is, she doesn't have a will to live because she knows she's not alive, but she does have the ability to fully comprehend what this expression, which is being perceived as life, is. And if we come back to the separate form, which you still identify with, you identify with the separate form and you call yourself someone who has a life. So first, acknowledging what is this thing, this process, this expression, which is you, acknowledging its majestic nature, its divineness. Your life is divineness itself. It's this or nothingness expressing. You have to have the highest respect you can to this state. The highest respect to this state. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to comprehend this expression as a separate form. And if you are a separate form and you identify yourself as a separate form and your life is hard, it's not an easy life. Sometimes people think, if I would be very, very rich and I would live on a yacht somewhere and have servants, I don't know, and have no worries in the world, I would be happy. And it's not true. True, it may be easier to live that way. It is one kind of expression of this oneness, healthiness and being rich and successful and loved. Every one of these parameters is an expression. It doesn't mean that the lives of someone who has these parameters are worth more than the lives of someone who doesn't have them. All lives matter. All lives are important. The hard ones, the ones whose lives are full of challenges, are more interesting. Life is full of challenges and hardship, and this is what makes the expression deep and interesting. So if we lose the judgment of what is a good life and what is a bad life, or life that you don't want to live. Basically, all lives have only one purpose: to express this idea, to express something. And if someone has a great big challenge in his life, a story about someone who experiences a great difficulty, so there are many things that can make your life very bitter. And it can come from a wretched beginning, that your childhood was the thing that you started off on the left foot. Something was wrong there. And it can be something that happened to you along the way. It can be a mental illness or a tragedy. And all these things are being perceived by the character as bad things that happened to me in my life, that shouldn't have happened to me in my life. My life was supposed to be different. This is not my life, so the will to live is diminished or vanishes because you don't want to live a life which is not yours. This is the great judgment. This life, this hard thing, I didn't want. It's not connected to me. It's an error that happened in my life. Something is wrong in my life. This is not me, and this is why I have no strong will to live and to enjoy my life, because it's just wrong. It shouldn't have been like this, and I don't want it to be like this, and I will not enjoy my life because it is not like I wanted it to be. it's wrong. It's society thinks it's wrong. I feel depressed, and this is not my life. So this is, we are talking up until the point of now, what is happened to the person now, because everything that has happened to him prior to the moment which he is inside right now, which means the present moment, which can be which is the only moment. Everything that happens prior to this moment never really happened. So all the sad stories, all the drama never really happened. All there is the present moment and the expression, what it looks like right now. So when it looks like something right now, what happens to it right now, and what is it doing right now? How does she express itself, the separate form, right now? You can learn from the story. You can know things about yourself from the story. But you cannot let the story dictate your present moment, which is the only expression of your life. Life is not your historical story. What has happened to you, to the character, this is not your life. It never was. It never is, and it never will be, because it never happened. Your life is the only thing that happens right now, this moment, and every moment you perceive as present moment. So if you don't live your life in the present moment, you have no life. It doesn't matter what has happened. All these stories that has happened to the character, they don't matter. It sounds very strange to say nothing has happened prior to this moment, but it is true. All of it is like something that is inside the moment, just giving a form to the separate point of view. It just gives it like a way to look at this oneness. This is its only purpose. All the past story, its only purpose is to let you express yourself in the present moment, which is the only moment. So being in the present moment, acting in the present moment is life. This is life, not the historical story of the character. This is a great, enormous difference in perceiving what life is, and inside it, igniting the will to live, because you only have to ignite the will, this will to live. You only have to be passionate about life now. You don't have to correct everything that has happened, and you cannot. It doesn't matter. You can acknowledge it, you can use it in the present moment. What are you doing right now? How do you take this amazingly complicated structure of being, of separate something, and express it right now as pure force of life? You are the force of life, the force of nature. Depressing it in the name of past history or fear of what will happen because of all you have learned in past history is killing your life, and sometimes people do not have the will to live. Really, they don't want to be on this planet Earth and to live this life, and it's so frustrating and everything. So not having the will to live, not wanting to be here, is a paradox, because you are not here. Where do you want to go? There is no other place. You will not reincarnate into something and your circumstances will be better, because right now you are not what you think you are. You are not your story. So not being here will not solve the problem. It will not. And it will be because you don't have a problem. There will be no change, not being here and being here. It's the same state. But as a separate form, which expresses a unique point of view, being here, expressing your point of view, is a rare, generous gift we gave ourselves. We gave ourselves the ability to enjoy this thing. And when I say enjoy, I mean also suffer. This suffering is also part of this enjoyment of this thing, because it knows nothing can harm you right now in your life. There is no need to go anywhere. Your life is protected because it has never been separate from this thing, from this oneness, from this holiness. You are this thing right now. The only thing you have to do is surrender to it right now and live it right now. And you don't need to make long-term plans and solve your issues backwards and forwards and to become complete. You only need to do what you can in the present moment in order for you to feel good, and if you can, for others to feel as the best as they can. And when you do that, you find the passion for life. You are an expression of life itself. You are aliveness. You are the only thing that is alive. Through your point of view, everything around you is alive. How amazing is this? That every flower you see is blooming because of you. That everything you can perceive, you give your life. You give it life. You are the giver of life by your point of view, by your existence, by your perception, by your being able to acknowledge it and to see it expressing. By your expression, everything around you is expressing, so you are the power of life itself. So important, so powerful, so strong. Being able to live and express this liveness allows everything around you to be this liveness, to live. How can you not enjoy this? How can you not acknowledge it? You can say, but I don't see that way. I'm still confined to the separate form and I'm separated from everything. And I'm so small and weak. And I can't do that. I can't face this world. It's too hard to live. Or I am facing this world, but I'm surviving and it's so hard for me. And I try my best, but I suffer. So it is very natural to feel this way because you are still confined to your separate form. But words like these and books and people who say this truth, this is the truth, the absolute truth. This is how things are. This is what you are. So you can take these words to the background of your mind and just contemplate about who and what you are and how important are you. So important. You are life itself. So this life has to be protected by the only one who can protect it. Not God from the skies. He has a messenger, which is you, which is He. You are connected, you are one. So you have been sent here to protect you. So you have to protect you. You have to guard this expression. You have to nourish this expression and let it live. Let it express itself passionately, lightly, humorously, as best it can in the circumstances. And accept the circumstances because this is what you have chosen for yourself in order to express. So if you chose very hard circumstances. The story is sad. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with your story and this is not the life you were meant to live. This is exactly the life you were meant to live. You wanted this life. You wanted to express this sorrow. So express it and then try to see what this sorrow has taught you and how can you express something else now in the present moment. All the past history doesn't exist, but this moment does exist. So what are you doing right now? What are you doing with all this experience and knowledge? How do you become life itself, the power of life, and influence everything around you, which is you, all your different expressions that surrounds you, that you are one with. How amazing is that, this knowing? If humanity had known that fact for a fact, if it was not something someone say and you believe it because you are very desperate and you want to hang on to something and say, okay, this is a very amazing idea that I'm so strong and I'm divine and I will believe it. If you had known for a fact this place or your life would be just this, what it has always been and will always be, this heaven on earth. But know that this is true. The only way you can do that is diving into the current moment, which is the only life you will ever have. You have always been this present moment. This is life. Inside it, there is no movement. There is great silence, and you can do that by doing things, by being very active, but you will feel silence inside because you dived inside the moment. And inside the moment, if you live, you become this liveness inside the moment. This is true liberation. So be what you are. Be this life. Ignite the will to live inside the present moment. This is the only life you will ever have. This moment. Nothing has happened before this present moment. This is your life. Only the present moment is your life. And inside this present moment, live.
Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof.